Hey guys, I see a couple of folks joining. Hey, hey, hey. Ooh, let me move this because I don't need this here right now. So, hey, how are you guys doing? Keela Tompkins Robinson here of A Girl Get Visible. And I wanted to stop in and do a quick live. As you can see, guys, see a little makeup and stuff, doing some recording today. And when I'm doing some recording, it is a good time to go live, even though my office is a little bit in shambles. Still waiting to get my artwork hung up and stuff. But either way, that is not what we're here for. So yesterday, if you are on my Facebook page, so if you guys are on Instagram, you may not have seen this, but you got to come on my Facebook page, right? So yesterday I made this post, and it was one of those impromptu posts. Sometimes your best stuff might be the things you don't overthink, right? So it was a real impromptu post just asking like why, and I forgot my exact words, but I know so many dope people. I know a lot of dope people, right? And they post a lot of dope stuff. Some of you guys are on here, my dope people who post a lot of dope stuff right now, right? Post a lot of dope stuff. And I pretty much was just like, hey, why aren't you guys, and I'll tell you where it was prompted from. You guys know things always happen for a reason in my head, right? So I was reading something about someone about to put out a book or just put out a book or something like that. And I'm like, why aren't, hey, Grace-Based Counseling, how you doing? I'm like, why aren't the people that I know, that I see all of this dope stuff from, why aren't they like the top bloggers, the top YouTubers, the top publishers, the top podcasters and stuff like that? Like, I know some people, again, who put out some really dope stuff. And I'm like, why aren't they the people that everyone is talking about? Right. And I know why. So I already know why. And that's why we're here. We're going to talk about this, right? I already know why. But it is very, for me, as someone who kind of teaches this and shows this and tries to help you guys with this, it's a little frustrating, right? Hey, Em, how you doing? So it's a little frustrating that, my whole goal and life's purpose almost is to help people get out there, get found, get visible, and do all these things, do SEO so you get found in search engines, and pretty much help people to be great so that they attract more customers and clients and all the great things. And I keep seeing all these other people like the top this and the top that and the people that everyone's talking about. And it's not the people that I know that are out there doing dope things. You guys know what I mean? Like, imagine, I'm going to just use an Olympics reference because, hey, it's the Olympics going on, right? But imagine, somebody who runs real fast, right? They run real, like breaking records and stuff like that. But it's never recorded, right? They're always doing it, somewhere on the block, or maybe they go to the park and they're like breaking records and doing all these things and they're really, really dope, but you never hear about them. And you never hear about them because it's never recorded. They're usually doing it on their own. They're usually doing it somewhere kind of in the quiet. Their friends and family or folks in the hood, they might know and see it, but they're never the ones that are getting out there. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Is that makes sense, you guys? Who knows the person that was real dope at something, right? Doesn't have to be running, right? But real dope at something that nobody seems to know a lot about. Well, that's a lot of people that I know, right? Business owners that I know. So I'm really picking on my business owners here. I am, right? If you're not a business owner, I get it. Maybe you don't want everybody to know, it's cool. But if you're a business owner, like the epitome of us doing business and getting our businesses out there and getting our business profitable. Let's talk about that, right? The epitome of that is that people need to know how great you are. People need to know what you do and how you can help them, how amazing it is to work with you. People need to know all of this stuff. And so when I see business owners, and I mean, sharing some great stuff, right? Sharing great posts, sharing great tips, sharing great videos, sharing, and they're told, or I hate this too, they're told, go out there and spread value, right? Everyone says, go spread value. Just magically spread value. But it is such a one-sided thing. You're spreading all this magic value, but no one tells you how to get it in front of people who think it's valuable. No one tells you how to find more people that think it's valuable. I just did a whole thing about launching with my members. I think I told you guys last week I was going to talk to my members about launching. So we did a whole thing about launching, and that whole thing is about finding and telling people that the thing you have is valuable. Because if you don't find and tell people that the thing you have is valuable, guess what you're not going to get, right? You're just not going to get the profitable part of your business, right? So I realized I did the post yesterday and got a lot of great feedback. Thank you for everybody who chimed in. Right? Not gonna name no names, but thank you for everybody who chimed in. But I was a little surprised because, like I said, it was one of those things I was like, oh, just typing this thing, and a little bit out of frustration because I'm reading all this other stuff, and got a lot of great feedback. And I realized that I'm gonna take the blame on this one a little bit, right? I'm gonna take the blame. I am. Right, for you guys. And this might become a podcast episode. I just want y'all to know that, right? So if you talk to me, you might be getting in a podcast episode, right? But I'm going to take the blame a little bit because we always use the word post. And I think post and content has become a very murky word, right? Over the last couple of years. And not to say it's murky, it's evolved, I guess. I guess you want to call it evolution. It's evolved in a sense, right? And I think because of how it's evolved, the definitions may not resonate the way they used to, right? And so I take it on me. Language is important. And if you take one of my SEO courses, if you take one of my challenges, you know that what we depend on is people using the words that people use and people understanding what you're talking about. It's funny because a little aside, I'm in another group and somebody's like, I don't want to use the word, was it hot seats or something like that? And in the back of my, anytime I see something like that, when they're like, I don't want to use the word blog, or I don't want to use the word hot seats. And I'm like, use the words that people know. Because when you use the words that people don't know, then they don't know what they're getting, right? So if it's a hot seat, it is what it is. It's a hot seat. It's cool. It's a hot seat. Everyone knows what a hot seat is, or most people know what a hot seat is in coaching. When you get on the hot seat and people ask you the questions, you get coached in front of everybody, right? It's something that resonates. Now, if you call it like, the thank you session or something like that, people aren't going to understand what it means. People are going to have no idea what you're talking about. So overall, in what we do, language and people's understanding of that language is really, really important, right? And so here's why I'm taking this on myself, and that's where the posting versus publishing came, title of this live came, right? So I'm taking on myself. I always say post because I'm used to blog post, right? Or we post a new podcast episode. I'm used to post as like the act of what we're doing, and realizing that with the evolution and with social media and stuff, post is also what we do on social media. We make a post, right? We post on social, we post on IG, we post on these things. So when I tell people you need to be posting more on your site and posting more on podcasts and posting more in these sustainable places where people can find your content over and over and over again, and where it's going to last longer and do more things for your business. We'll talk about that in a minute. When I say those word post, I don't know if it's clicking that I am not talking about social media. I'm looking both ways because I got IG over here and Facebook over here, right? I am not talking about social media, right? Because while social media is fun, I'm here with y'all now, right? It's cool. If this thing lives here on social media and stays here on social media, it is going to die within a few hours. If I get lucky, it'll give me a few days, right? But I already know, and it's funny because I was listening to a podcast episode I did last year with someone. I was just listening to that because I was sending it to someone else. And I said, oh, let me re-listen to me, right? I say some good stuff on podcasts. I do, right? And so I went to go listen, and I was saying the same thing. I was saying exactly what I'm saying now, that, people are used to putting things on social, and social is all about the greatest, the latest and the greatest. And so when it's no longer the latest, then they stop showing it to people. That's just how it works. Like, there's no changing that. Right? That's just how it works. So what that means to us as business owners is that everything that we post here and leave here is gone not physically gone. So like you're going to say, oh, well, you can go to my page and find it. But how many people you think are really going to your page? How often do you think they're going to your page? Like people aren't watching your entire news feed. They just aren't, right? Very rarely. And when they do go to your page, it's after they've already found you and they want to find out more about you. You're not just getting new people coming to your page. That's not how this works like that, right? So I realized in using the word post, because a blog post and posted your podcast, posting a video on YouTube, using the word post, it may be a little bit confusing. And what we really should be using the word is publishing. And that makes a big difference because you think about how you publish a book or you get published in a magazine. That feels a little bit more longevity, right? That feels like it's lasting a lot longer. It's doing more for you because we all want to get published in a magazine. A lot of people want to publish books. You know, we all want to be published somewhere. So when you think about when I talk to you guys about, which is your blogs, your podcast, your YouTube, the 3 sustainable places, sustainable meaning they can get found later on. They don't go and die on the vine. The algorithms that they have are based on the greatest, not the latest, the greatest, right? So if you got great stuff and you're there and you got the things that somebody's searching for, then it is going to come up for that person in search, whether it was this year, last year, next year. That's what we want our stuff to do. That's why you publish a book. Right? You publish a book because you want to stick around for a while, right? Same thing when you're thinking about your content. So when we're talking about making the most use of our content, and I don't even want to think of it as content because content, that feels like it's a post, right? When you're making the best use of your expertise and your time marketing, right? Because this isn't just I'm putting my expertise out there. It's also about the time that it takes. So if you think about your marketing time, people think about marketing budgets and how much money they have, but how much time do you have? How much time do you have to sit there and produce new stuff, to post new stuff, to put new things out there? That time starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller, especially, and it's going to sound a little counterintuitive, especially the more successful you get. The more successful you are, the less time you have because now you're spending time with your customers and your clients. I was talking to one of my clients. She's got a membership. It is booming, right? So proud of her, right? And she's like, when do I find time? Because now I got to go in my community. Now I got to create these things. I got to put together the monthly stuff. And I still got to do all of this stuff on, getting marketing and stuff done. So your time actually gets less. That's why I always say people like, do you see a bunch of like $1 million folks? Everyone wants to be $1 million folk, but do you see a bunch of $1 million folks on here giving value in all of these groups that aren't theirs? Do you see a lot of $1 million folks on Facebook, on everybody's like commenting on everybody's newsfeed? You don't see that. And the reason why is because they don't have time for that. Like for real, they don't have time for that. Right? So they have to be more strategic. And that's what I want us to be. I want us to be more strategic with how we are creating and how we are publishing. So publishing, putting things somewhere where they can get found again and again and again, and using that to fuel what you put on these temporary places. Right? So we talked about one of the things we also talked about a few weeks ago, right? There's a lot going on in my membership. If y'all aren't in my membership, make sure you get on my list for the next opening. Just gonna say that, right? I got another challenge coming up really soon for you guys. So if you're not already there, go over to girlgivevisible.com/SEO guide. You're gonna get a free guide that's gonna help you with SEO. And you're going to get on my list so you know how to get my membership, right? Both of which very dope, right? So if you think about like, what are we doing with the stuff that we create? You can now then turn that over to be the things that you talk about on these temporary platforms. And you can lead people back to that thing that's on your site because it's always there. This has happened to me the other day. I was actually it was yesterday. Yesterday seemed like a long day, right? I lost track of some days. But I was in another group yesterday and someone asked about getting a MBE and WBE, which is Minority Business Enterprise and Women Business Enterprise, which are both certifications you can get from the government. It's really dope stuff, right? Certifications you can get so that you can go after government contracts, right? So someone was like, has anyone done this, right? And I said, well, I haven't done it yet. I'm going to be working on that. But I've got not one, but 2 podcasts with a small business specialist from the EPA, who happens to be my sister, right? So who might be watching this? Hey, Dren, right? So instead of me having to write this long drawn out thing of what they could do, instead of me having to repeat something that I'd already said and done literally like almost a year, 2 years ago, instead of doing that, I was able to say, here's the links to these podcasts. She dropped some major information. If y'all want the links, just PM me or DM me and I'll send that. All right. Hey, how you doing? Who's that? New Nurse Academy. Who's New Nurse Academy? Hey. So, instead of me having to go and repeat, redo, rewrite all these things to give them the information, I was able to say, here you go. Here you go, sis. I got these links. And so not only did I give these links and give this information because it's published, meaning it's out there, it lasts longer, it can get found again and again and again. It's easily, oh, hey, Tiff, it's easily available, right? Instead of me having to go and repeat all the things that I'd already done, I gave her the links. And I sent her to go see those links. And other people who were reading along, guess what? They saw the links too. Someone asked a question. I was like, make sure you listen to the episode. She was like, I'm already halfway in. I'm already halfway done with the first one. This is some golden stuff. And on there, I have the podcast, I have links to other stuff, so more information, because it's published content. Because it's published content that we can use again and again and again. So, like I said in the beginning, I realized when I'm using the word and the language posting, I might be saying the wrong thing. I mean, it may not be resonating with you guys the way it should, because this is not posting. Posting is putting it up one time. It's going to go away, gone with the wind, right? That's posting. I want you guys to think, what am I publishing? What am I publishing for my business? What am I putting out there so it could be available over and over and over again? What am I publishing? Even think, because we do spend a lot of time on social, what did I post on social that should be published, right? I should be taking this content and putting that somewhere where people can find it again and again and again. As I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, so recently, we took on a little thing in my own business, right? I got a new team member. And so one of the first things I did, instead of saying, go and do all this new stuff, right? One of the first things I did is, I know that I had some lives on Facebook that I had never published to my site or published to YouTube or published to anywhere, really. They were just on Facebook. I had her go through, compare what we had based on what was out there, 80 pieces of content, 80 videos, y'all, 80. That's a lot. If you do posting one time a week onto YouTube with 80 videos, that is over a year's worth of content. One whole year. I've been talking and it's been going nowhere. I should be mad at myself, right? And I would be. I mean, I do put some things out there, but I just didn't have time to do it all. So I got somebody, right? So the thing that we're doing now is taking that content and moving it over to our YouTube, moving it over to our blog, right? And so she's already got things all scheduled out for me through August. And it's funny because yesterday I was going in, looking at tags, looking in descriptions and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is some dope stuff. Like, who wants to know, do you need a copywriter, an SEO writer, or a content writer, and the difference? Oh, I've got a video on that. And it's going on my YouTube channel now, right? So that question that I get asked a lot is now going to be somewhere where people can find it a lot, right? Instead of it sitting here on Facebook where it was gone. It was, nobody was seeing it, right? The videos that she's already put up, because now we're doing 2 videos a week, and plus my new content. So like this will go over there as well, right? The videos that I already put up are already getting views. They are already, you guys can go to my little YouTube channel. You guys can see, every single one of them has some views going on. Some of them have some comments going on. So now every single one of them that are now being published, they're pretty much getting like a new life. I am breathing new life into them by putting them somewhere where they can get found. putting them somewhere where people can continuously see them, find them, learn from them, and find me, right? Because know that we put my link on every single one of them so that they can, if they want more information, they can come over and they can get the guide that I just told you guys about. Every single one of them, I'm talking about my products and my services and the things that I do to help them. So all of this stuff that was wasting away because it was a post, right? Wasting away being posted is now being published. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to, kind of think about that shift in language. And so you'll hear me say publishing more than posting, and feel free to yell at me if I say posting, right? Right? Because I want us to start thinking publishing. What are we publishing? What are we putting out there that it can get found? What are we putting out there that is really like something we're solidifying in our business? You don't write a book and walk away and never see it again. You write a book and say, I'm an author, right? I want you guys, hey, Lanya, how you doing? I want you guys to walk away and say, I'm a blogger, I'm a podcaster, I'm a YouTuber. Like, I am creating and making these waves. And so for those who saw my post yesterday, well, this is Content August. I don't know if you guys know that. So in my group, we do something called Content August, right? And I was actually not going to really do Content August this year because I'm so deep down in with the software, which I'll be giving you guys a software update next week. I think I have it scheduled for. I was thinking of not doing it. But then after yesterday's post, I was like, we need a Content August, right? We need to start talking about, and I'm going to do this Content August is going to be the very basics. Because one of the things people are like, I don't know how to get started. I don't know how to start a YouTube. I don't know how to start a podcast. I don't know how to start a blog, right? So this Content August is going to be really laying the foundation, basic. I'm going to be talking about how to start one of these three. And you don't need to start all three at once. I never tell everybody start all three at once. I'm going to tell you guys that now, right? Never, right? What I do is tell you to pick one. Pick one. Let's get it solid. Only small caveat is that if you pick podcast or YouTube, we also put those on our website. So if you go to my website, if you go to girlgetvisible.com/podcast, you'll see all of my podcast episodes there. And I'm not doing anything extra. I'm using the same show notes that I'll use in the description and stuff like that. I'm doing, well, it's one step extra, putting it on the site, right? But I'm not like writing anything different for it. I'm just making sure that everything is home on my site. So technically, blogging's easier because all you got to do is write right there in the blog, right? If you're going to do YouTube, you still want to embed it onto your site. That's our next task to do with my 80 videos. If you're going to do podcasts, you still want to make sure you embed it on your site. The upside is that now you're getting found in two places, right? If you do that. And those are the things we're going to be talking about this August with Content August, right? I'm really not going to do a Content August, but I really see the needs. We need to start publishing. I can't teach you guys SEO if you're not publishing. I'm going to give you guys the same hands I just gave Facebook. I really can't. I can't teach you good SEO. Any good SEO is going to tell you SEO is based on quality content. SEO is based on quality content. If you are not publishing something somewhere, not posting, publishing something somewhere, you do not have quality content. So for me to even teach you SEO, people are always like, I want to learn SEO. And I'm like, wow, do you have a blog? Do you have a site? Do you have YouTube? Do you have something? And then they're like, no, I haven't started that yet. I've been thinking of starting that. And honestly, yes, you can do a little bit of SEO just based on your about page and your homepage and stuff like that, but that's not going to get you the traction that y'all are looking for. Y'all aren't looking for a couple of people. Y'all are looking for thousands of people, right? You want the numbers, right? In order to get the numbers, you've got to be publishing something. So SEO is based on quality content. Anyone tells you different is lying, right? Straight up, they're lying. You can tell them I said so, right? But it's based on quality content. I can't even get you to the next step of what you need to do if you aren't willing to publish. So we're going to spend Content August on getting our publishing together, right? Getting our publishing platforms. So that way you at least have what you need to get started, right? Because you can't get the traffic and the traction if you aren't publishing anything. So that was it. I know I said that was it before, but that was really it this time. All right. I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Wanted to tell you guys what we got going on. So we got content August coming on. Make sure you guys join the list because of course I'll be sending out emails about all this stuff. Go to girlgetvisible.com/SEO guide. You'll get the guide about getting started and you'll get on the list so you will get all the updates that we are talking about here. All right. Bye guys. See you guys. And thank you for joining me. Bye. I can't even end the